George Russell's future with Mercedes has become one of the most debated topics in Formula One. What seemed like a stable partnership is now surrounded by speculation and doubt. As contract discussions unfold, every statement from the team and Russell himself is being analyzed, creating a cloud of uncertainty that neither side has fully dispelled. Mercedes has long viewed Russell as their future, a driver capable of leading the team through the next era of competition. Yet, unresolved negotiations suggest that there may be more complexity behind the scenes than anyone expected. This uncertainty arrives at a crucial moment. With Mercedes fighting to reclaim dominance and new contenders rising, the need for stability has never been greater. Russell's contract talks will determine whether Mercedes continues building around him or faces the prospect of an unexpected shift. The question remains, is Russell truly committed to Mercedes for the long term, or could the tension surrounding these negotiations lead to a seismic change within the team's future? George Russell's journey to Mercedes is a story of persistence and undeniable talent. From his days dominating junior categories to his early struggles at Williams, Russell displayed both speed and determination. His performance as a stand-in for Lewis Hamilton at the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix proved his readiness for the top level, cementing his reputation as a future champion. When Mercedes finally offered him a seat, it was seen as a long-awaited reward. Russell entered the team not only as a promising young driver, but also as the likely successor to carry Mercedes beyond Hamilton's era. His early results validated the decision, showing his ability to compete with the best while adapting to the pressures of a title-contending environment. This strong start created the foundation for a long-term partnership. Yet, as the contract uncertainty grows, that once clear path has become complicated. While Russell's talent is undisputed, the evolving dynamics at Mercedes have raised new questions about whether his future will be as straightforward as once imagined. Chapter 3. The Contract Negotiation Puzzle. Contract negotiations in Formula One are rarely simple, and Russell's situation with Mercedes is no exception. Reports suggest that both sides are engaged in detailed discussions, balancing immediate performance goals with long-term ambitions. While Mercedes values Russell's talent and leadership potential, the specifics of his contract may involve more than just salary. Duration, performance clauses, and flexibility for future opportunities are all believed to be part of the talks. For Russell, the challenge lies in aligning his personal ambitions with the team's evolving strategy. For Mercedes, securing their young star without overcommitting in an unpredictable regulatory era requires precision. Adding to the complexity, other teams are closely monitoring the situation. Any sign of hesitation from either party could spark interest across the grid, increasing the pressure on both sides to finalize an agreement. This negotiation is not simply about one driver. It represents a strategic decision that could define Mercedes' competitive direction for years. Each passing week without resolution only intensifies the sense of anticipation within the sport. One of the key factors in Russell's situation is his position alongside Lewis Hamilton. For years, Hamilton has been the cornerstone of Mercedes, a 7-time world champion whose legacy is intertwined with the team's success. For Russell, this dynamic presents both an opportunity and a challenge. While racing alongside Hamilton has accelerated Russell's development, it has also placed him in constant comparison with one of the greatest drivers in history. Despite strong performances, Russell's ability to step out of Hamilton's shadow remains a defining question. Mercedes faces its own dilemma. Balancing the present dominance of Hamilton with Russell's future potential is a delicate task. If the team appears too focused on Hamilton, it risks frustrating a young driver eager to lead. Conversely, shifting emphasis too quickly toward Russell could create internal tensions. This balance will play a critical role in the outcome of Russell's contract negotiations. Whether Mercedes can manage this transition effectively may ultimately determine not just Russell's future, but the team's path beyond Hamilton's era. Outside Mercedes, rival teams are watching George Russell's contract situation with interest. In a sport where talent is scarce and opportunities are limited, even a hint of uncertainty surrounding a top-tier driver can spark immediate speculation. Teams like Ferrari, McLaren, and even Aston Martin are all potential destinations if negotiations with Mercedes were to falter. While no official approaches have been reported, the competitive environment of Formula One means that every team is prepared to act if a rare chance to secure a proven driver emerges. For Russell, this dynamic strengthens his negotiating position. Knowing that other teams could offer competitive seats provides leverage in discussions with Mercedes. At the same time, Mercedes must weigh the risk of losing a driver who could potentially strengthen a rival. The looming presence of these alternatives creates an unspoken urgency. Every step in this negotiation will be measured against what the rest of the grid might be prepared to offer if the situation were to change suddenly. Mercedes' long-term strategy will heavily influence their decision regarding Russell's contract, after years of dominance followed by a challenging transition under new regulations. The team is redefining its approach to remain at the top of the sport. Russell represents a critical piece of that vision. At 26, he is entering his prime years, offering Mercedes a potential foundation for the next era of competition. However, committing to him requires confidence not only in his ability, but also in the team's capacity to provide him with a championship-caliber car. The negotiations are therefore not just about retaining Russell. They are about aligning his ambitions with Mercedes' roadmap. If Mercedes can present a clear and convincing plan for the future, they strengthen their position. If they cannot, Russell may begin to question whether his best chance at a title lies elsewhere. In a sport defined by timing, this decision could shape not only Russell's career, but also Mercedes' identity for the coming decade. For George Russell, the contract talks represent more than a financial agreement. They are a statement of trust and ambition. After years of proving himself, he is no longer the young driver simply grateful for an opportunity. He is a proven competitor who expects a clear path to contention for championships. Russell's perspective is shaped by two priorities: competitive machinery and long-term security. He has already endured seasons of midfield struggles at Williams, and he will not want to risk stagnation during what should be the peak of his career. Additionally, Russell has watched other drivers make bold moves to elevate their careers. Seeing examples like Fernando Alonso's resurgence, or even Hamilton's original switch to Mercedes, may influence how he evaluates his own options. Ultimately, Russell must decide whether Mercedes can deliver on his ambitions. If he believes they can, he will remain loyal. If doubts persist, he may be forced to consider whether the time has come for a calculated and career-defining shift. Toto Wolff, Mercedes' team principal, is at the center of these negotiations. Known for his ability to manage both the competitive ambition and personal relationships, Wolff's leadership will be crucial in shaping the outcome. Wolff has always been a vocal supporter of Russell, praising his work ethic, intelligence, and ability to handle pressure. However, his responsibility extends beyond one driver. He must balance Russell's demands with the broader needs of the team, including its long-term financial and technical commitments. His approach will likely involve both strategic patience and clear communication. Keeping Russell confident in Mercedes' vision while addressing contractual details is a delicate process that only Wolff's experience can navigate effectively. If Wolff succeeds, he can secure Russell's future and stabilize the team. If not, Mercedes could risk unsettling one of their most valuable assets. The outcome of this negotiation will test not only Wolff's management skills, but also his ability to preserve Mercedes' position as a team, built for sustained success. The prospect of George Russell leaving Mercedes may seem unlikely, but in Formula One, nothing is guaranteed. If negotiations were to collapse, the consequences for both sides would be significant. For Mercedes, losing Russell would disrupt their succession plan and force them to search for a replacement capable of leading the team in a post-Hamilton era. While talented drivers exist, few combine Russell's speed, intelligence, and familiarity with the team's structure. For Russell, moving elsewhere would be a bold gamble. Joining another team could bring immediate opportunities, but also the risk of stepping into an unproven or unstable project. The decision would define the trajectory of his career for years to come. This scenario underscores the high stakes surrounding the talks. Both Mercedes and Russell know the cost of failure, which is why every detail is being examined with such precision. In the balance lies not only a contract, but the future direction of one of Formula One's most iconic partnerships, the question of whether George Russell will remain with Mercedes ultimately comes down to alignment between ambition and reality, between loyalty and opportunity. Both sides understand the significance of this moment. For Mercedes, retaining Russell would secure a cornerstone for their next chapter while maintaining stability during a period of intense competition. For Russell, staying would signal his belief in Mercedes' ability to deliver the machinery and strategy needed for championship success. Yet the uncertainty persists, fueled by the complexities of modern Formula One and the shifting balance of power among teams. The decision, when it comes, will be more than a simple contract extension. It will be a declaration of intent from both driver and team about their shared future. Until then, the negotiations remain a high-stakes chess match, with every move carefully calculated. Whether Russell stays or chooses a new path, this moment will define the next era of his career and Mercedes' place in the sport's unfolding story.